Also, why does she need 3 lawyers for me?
To sue you! Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you a story. A few months ago, there was a mass murderer on the loose. Panic ensued in the area. People were concerned, people were scared, people didn't know what this murderer looked like. No one knew anything, and it was this mass panic and confusion in one given area, especially because this area was housed by a bunch of college students, young teenagers, young adults trying to exist in the world, dealing with grades, love life, and student death. And lo and behold, in the midst of all this confusion, all this angst, all this panic, one woman was going to save us all because she was going to use her psychic powers to tell you that it wasn't a man, it wasn't even a child, it was a woman, a professor that worked at the same school as where the victims were. And this wasn't some angry schizophrenic just out and having a bad day. No. It was a lover's quarrel with one of the victims. And obviously, once we heard this woman spew all that bullshit and falsely blame somebody of murder, everybody with common sense said, that don't make no damn sense.
This is the teacher who potentially had the 4 Idaho students killed. She's the one who ordered the execution. As you can see from here, she may have been a part of LGBTQ community, and she may have dated Kaylee or wanted to. Brief synopsis of who killed the University of Idaho college students and why. Their murder was ordered by Rebecca Schofield. Her targets were Kaylee and Madison. Rebecca was highly interested in Kaylee. She spent a lot of time fantasizing and thinking about her. They may have had some sort of fling. But ultimately, because of stubbornness and inability to see eye to eye, they broke it off. When they broke it off, Kaylee and Madison was seen together, and Rebecca did not like this because she felt that it could cause her trouble. She could get snitched on for dating a student. She was so consumed and worried about losing respect, admiration, and her possessions that she hired the killer to carry out the murder. The killer did it simply for money and to be back into school and so that he can finish his studies. He was previously in trouble and maybe kicked out of.
But this woman was steadfast. She said that this was her psychic intuition, her women's intuition, to act as if she was the only person with evidence spiritually that could convict a random ass woman because her pussy was tight and the tarot cards were leading her in the wrong direction. And this woman that got falsely accused by a random TikToker of murder did the smartest thing possible when dumbasses are accusing you of something online. Filing for defamation against them.
I haven't been served yet, but I'm actually gleaming with excitement. I am going to immediately start planning because I cannot wait to present my ideas in court regarding Rebecca Schofield and her role in the murder of the 4 University of Idaho students. How she planned it, how it was her initial idea, how she hijacked the court, how she enticed him and energized him and got him ready to kill his own best friend. Since they have the inability to understand it, I'm glad it can be me.
And it's been a funny ride traveling and journeying and documenting as this stupidity kept going, because it has kept going all this time. This woman who thought it was a bright idea to blatantly lie and claim a random person is hiding the fact that she's a murderer has tried 11 times to counterclaim and has failed each time.
Something strange. We don't always report on crime, but this one is a bit unique. We just had to share it with you. It has to do with the 4 University of Idaho students stabbed to death in their off-campus house last November. But this has nothing to do with Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of the killings. Rather, a case that wasn't in the limelight. We mentioned it back in December when there was no suspect for the case, and there was a lot of national speculation around the murders. At the time, a Texas-based TikTok personality, Ashley Gouliard, she accused the University of Idaho professor Rebecca Schofield publicly of committing the murders to cover up a student-teacher affair, and she did it all publicly on all of her TikTok account. Got millions of views. A lot of people saw this and sent us messages about it. So the professor, she sued for defamation. Then on July 10th, Gouliard actually filed multiple counterclaims against the U of I professor. Gouliard, who is representing herself, said that she used her spiritual and investigative techniques to come to her conclusion. She's still standing by those claims, even though police have already arrested 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger for the killings. She says in her counterclaim, quote, Since the accusations in Ashley Juilliard's TikTok videos are substantially true, there is no actionable claim for defamation, and that she is the victim of defamation in all of this. She says plaintiff's claims are barred by fraud because they're false, perjurious, frivolous, and claimed with malice to get away with unethical conduct, adultery, and murder. Schofield's attorneys are asking a judge to dismiss the counterclaims because they say they have no merit or basis.
TikTok personality's countersuit against a University of Idaho professor will not be moving forward. Today, a federal judge dismissed the lawsuit. Ashley Juilliard posted on TikTok that Rebecca Schofield, a professor, was involved in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students last year. Some of those posts went viral, so the professor sued her for defamation. Then Juilliard filed multiple counterclaims. Again, it's only the counterclaims that are dismissed. Juilliard claims she has spiritual abilities that led her to believe Schofield was behind the killings. The judge said, quote, "These claims are not only conclusory and unverifiable, but arguably so outrageous as to be clearly baseless and thus implausible." 28-year-old Brian Koberger is the man charged with the murders.
I want this to be a lesson for all you people that want to speculate all day and try to paint your random TikTok videos as facts and evidence. For the love of God, I know I just said it in the last video, but please, I'm begging y'all, a grain of salt is what you need to take all your little weird evidence and use it to make sure that you don't end up being booked for something you didn't want to be booked for. You do not want to be somebody on the end of a defamation lawsuit because you're running around saying someone did this or someone did that or someone didn't do this and someone didn't do that, and you have no evidence. I'm sorry. If you're gonna prove or disprove something, you're gonna need evidence for it, because if you don't, you just a random motherfucker spouting nonsense hoping nobody fact checks you. And sorry to this random TikTok woman who thinks her women's intuition can solve any murder case. You was getting fact checked out the womb to the point where the judge, without directly saying it, and he had to be a little bit nice about it, said all of this was a bunch of bullshit. It's not hard to want to be invested in something that has limited information. I don't know why a majority of you people that want to investigate things openly and actively don't bring this information to the police, but you instead bring it to TikTok followers or YouTube subscribers or Snapchat followers, thinking those people are going to solve the case. It would be better if you bring that to the local authorities, but that's besides the point. How do you think you can possibly make yourself look like the smartest person in the room when all you're doing is spouting nonsense? So I implore you, please, I'm begging you, I'm pleading to you, look at my pink fluffy hat, jerk off to my beautiful face, listen to the words I'm saying to you. Stop acting as if you're the smartest person in the room. Stop acting as if everything you say in terms of journalism and finding the truth is actually the truth. Fact check your own bullshit so that you don't have to deal with the consequences of looking like the dumbass who got it wildly wrong. Cool, we got it. I'm glad I could use another stupid person to prove to you that it's not wise to be stupid. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye. I feel as though we should all just take a moment. Let's look at this microphone right now. Let's tap it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Oh my God, it's a condom. You know what this means? You are fucked because you are stupid.